Okay, my beautiful friends, it is still Tuesday, June 18, 2019. You ever have the feeling that you're being watched? That the eyes of strange things are upon you? That's me. Alright, we're down to the wire here with regard to the Federal Reserve. And I am up against Jim Grant. Jim Grant. To say the least, I am afraid. The man's brilliant, no doubt about it. He believes the Fed is going to cut rates tomorrow. I explained to all of you I am taking the opposite side of that trade. I don't have any money at risk in this market. You know, I day trade now. I had two trades. One very good today, one not so good. Still pulled a profit. That's what matters. So it's not a matter of whatever the market does tomorrow, I'm going to make or lose cash. It's a matter of I want to keep my record. That's the truth. Going up against Jim is a daunting prospect for me. Okay, with that aside, we'll see tomorrow. In Jim's honor, I will wear a bow tie if Jim is correct. Jim, in your honor, I will wear that lovely bow tie that you're so famous for. Okay, so big rally today. Across the board, people. Stocks off to the races. The bond market, big rally. Yields came down. Let me show you something. Try not to laugh or cry or whatever you might want to do. Let's look at what is supposed to be a yield curve here. Look at the 1 month, and we go up a little bit to the 3 month, back down 6 month, lower 1 year, lower 2 year, lower 3 year. Look at this. There's no yield curve. It's all inverted. Then we get a little nudge higher here with the 10-year. Look at the 30. 30-year, 2.547. I'm reading it backwards, but that's what it looks like to me. Let me explain this to you very clearly, because I want to, well, first of all, before I explain that, let's talk about crude oil. How many of you out here remember explaining to all of you that crude oil was going to be pushed higher? All the nonsense, the jawboning, the military war talk. Well, yeah, crude oil continues to march higher. Look, OPEC will not be allowed to lose a single dime. Neither will the banks that are invested in crude oil. So forget about it. You will pay for it, and you will smile too while you're at the pump and everything else. You know how many products are made with petroleum-based products? Get ready to start paying for everything, because we have to support OPEC. We have to do that. We have to support the banks that may have made bad investments in crude oil, because, in my opinion, crude oil would be half what it is now if it weren't for the major propping up. That's the truth. This whole thing is so propped up across the board. And again, so let me explain this to you, and that's what I was going to say before. With regard to whatever's left of the yield curve, we have no yield curve. Even when we get a rate cut, and again, I don't believe it's tomorrow. Jim says yes. I love Jim. I really do. Great guy. Smart guy. Anyway. It's a Band-Aid. All it will do is push the short end of the curve lower in an attempt to normalize the yield curve. But it's so distorted. I don't even think a 50 basis point cut to the federal funds rate is going to work at this point. But it's a gesture to the market that, hey, we got your back. And what's going to end up happening anyway is the longer end of the curve, the 10-year, the 30, they're going to continue to drop. And we're going to end up in a nightmare scenario. A nightmare scenario when the entire curve falls off of a cliff. And I don't think there's a way to stop it from happening. I really don't. No amount of propping up of the stock market, talking the economy into whatever President Trump is supposed to talk it into, because we are in free fall. Every time you hear the president or anyone tell you how great our economy is, you're listening to and looking at a liar. That's the truth. Now let me enlighten you about this too. How many of you, with a show of hands, believe it was just a coincidence today that the European Central Bank, Mario Draghi, came out and said, hey, we're going to introduce more stimulus. We're going to cut rates too. The day before the Fed is about to make their announcement. You think that's a coincidence? Absolutely not. One central bank talking to the other central bank, and they are running the show. I really believe this. I don't know how Jim would feel about it, but I think this was floated out today so the Fed does not have to cut rates tomorrow. Why bother when we got the same effect out of what the ECB said they would do? This is unbelievable, people. But look, we all know, at least you should know if you follow this blog, all of these world central banks work in concert. They're all owned by the same entities. You think they don't talk to each other? You think this was just coincidence today? Today? Why couldn't Draghi wait till, I don't know, the day after tomorrow? No, no, no. He was told to do this today. Get out there today, Mr. Draghi, and let's announce to the world that you're willing to do whatever it takes yet again. Cut rates, more stimulus, whatever you got to do the day before the Fed is about to make their decision. Truly, to me, this looks like an act of desperation. Also looks to me like, again, it's a setup. The Fed does not need to do anything tomorrow because the ECB did it already. This is a charade on a grand scale. And who's going to pay for it? You are, along with everyone else stuck in the middle class. It's a terrible place to be at this point. There is no middle class anymore. It's the saddest thing to watch this segment of the population be systematically erased. But that's been the grand plan all along, to eliminate the middle class, create a two-tier society, extreme haves, extreme have-nots, and it's happening right here. And no one opens their mouth. They listen to the president. Great economy. Doing phenomenal. Hitting records. Yeah, we're hitting records like the manufacturing index, largest drop ever in history yesterday. Money velocity at historic lows. I mean, you can just go on and on. It's just abysmal where we are. And it's not just the United States. I'm not just beating up on the president. Although, he's the top gun around here and he keeps telling everyone how great it is. It's a complete lie. But the rest of the world, too, they're all doing the same thing. They're trying to drag the people along. Bah, 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 bah. Little sheep. The slaughter. I'd like to see Jim Grant do that. Yeah, I don't think he would. Anyway, all right, so tomorrow's the day. All kinds of fun. Let's just see. Let's just see where this goes. And I want to hear from you. How many of you believe this was a coincidence today? Draghi. Oh, yeah. Just a coincidence today that I'm going to say this. Right now, the day before the Fed is about to announce what they're going to do. I don't believe in that big of a coincidence. I'm sorry. Don't you wish you could get in on these backdoor conversations and how they set it all up? And then you got the president out there. Let's do this. Let's set this up for everyone. Let's have Mario Draghi get out there and explain how the ECB is going to do whatever it takes, cut rates, stimulate, and then the president, because they're all in on it. Let's float out a story. Let's get out there. Let's float it out. How, China trade talks are going to go well again. For the last year and a half, we've been hearing the same dog shit narrative. Let's float it out there. Oh, yeah, and in the meantime, let's prop up crude oil so it pulls the energy sector higher, so it pulls the financial sector higher. Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention that by President Trump saying that talks are going to go well, or may go well, in China, that pushed the whole tech sector higher, hence the rally we had today. You do not need to be a rocket scientist to see this, and this is why I cracked up this morning. It's so obvious to me that I could sit here and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, laugh, laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and F and laugh. I can't say that, can I? I just did. This guy loves you. I don't know how Jim feels about you. Jim? He doesn't want to say anything. Okay? See you tomorrow.